Welcome everybody to Learn Telford's Access to Higher Education information event. My name is Lynn Anslow Green and I'm the Programme Manager for Access to Higher Education. I've been working at Telford and Wrekin now for about the past 10 years and I've been working in adult education. I've been teaching and coordinating and managing the curriculum that we have and now working with the Learn Telford team. And I'm really excited that we're going to have this opportunity to bring access to higher education to our service and to you. Today's session I'll be ably supported with some people who hopefully you'll be able to get to know better over the next few months. We have with us today Helen Marsh and Maria Beebe. So I don't know if you want to give us a wave. I think we can see you or shout hello. Hiya, good morning. Helen and Maria are our lead tutors for the Access to Higher Education programmes that will be starting in September. We also have Rob Hedison. We can't see you, Rob, but you can shout hello if you want to. And Rob is part of our community learning team. And you might see Rob out and about across Telford and Wrekin supporting Learn Telford courses, supporting people back into education, training and work. And Rob will be a really helpful person if we have some questions coming across about work and getting back into education and how the two might affect each other. But also really lucky today to have Dr. Alice Wren and Dr. Helen Perkins from the School of Education from the University of Wolverhampton. And they will be able to talk to us about progression routes after your access qualification, what happens next. And we're also joined by Natalia Hill from the School of Health from the University of Wolverhampton, again to give us some more information about what you can do with an access qualification. So good morning to you all. I hope you're all well this morning and thanks for being with us today. Okay, great. So we'll make a start, and just to let you know that the session aims today are to hopefully give you a bit more information about what studying a level 3 access qualification looks like and what it involves. We want to inform you about how to fund your qualification and where to find more information, because that's really important. And we'd also like to give you an idea today of the different degree courses that can lead on from an access diploma. I've mentioned that we've got some people joining us who can give us some more information about that. So hopefully you'll get a really good idea of where you can go with either an access qualification in education or health professions. And we're going to explain how to apply and what you need to do. But before I carry on, I just want to make you aware that if you have any questions, or as I'm talking as the presentation continues, if things are popping into your head, if you want to make a note of them in the live chat stream, please do so. And at the end of this session, at the end of the presentation, we'll have a little bit of time for question and answers. And if we don't cover everything at that part, then there'll be opportunity for you to send us an email with any questions that crop up in the future. Okay, so first things first, what is an access course? Some of you might have a really good idea already about what access to higher education is all about. And some of you might wish to understand a little bit more about exactly what access means. So we'll give you an overview of what that looks like. So an access course is a part-time course, in our case delivered across one academic year. It covers 20-ish modules or units. Some are about 22, some are around 19, and it's stated as part-time, but the minimum hours of study with an access course really are 15 hours per week. So that's something that's really important, and to bear in mind that is considered part-time, and that 15 hours as a minimum is what you'll need to study the qualification. Okay, an access to higher education course is what we call a level 3 course. It's a level 3 diploma. And level 3 is equivalent to A level or advanced level. And the access to HE course, once complete, will give you the equivalent to 3 A levels if you are willing and wanting to then apply to university and make a UCAS application. the access qualification will give you the equivalent amount of points as a minimum 3 A levels would to allow you access into university study. And not everybody knows that an access qualification is actually graded. So once you complete your qualification, you will either achieve a pass, merit or distinction. And that's something really worth thinking about, as to what you put into this qualification is what you will get out. And there are grades, just as there would be if you'd achieved an A level, you'd be graded accordingly. So that's something worth thinking about. And of course, an access qualification is to prepare you for university study. So the level of the qualification, what is actually covered, all embeds some really important study skills that will prepare you for the kind of expected level that level 4 or university study requires. Okay. So that's a very broad overview, and the most important question is how much does this qualification cost? There will be a fee to pay, and that is the fee. Is everyone still in the room, Richard?
Yeah, so far.
Good. So each access to higher education course that spans an academic year will have a fee attached to it. And for both courses that we're launching in education and in health professions, the fee is the same. So they're £3,384 each. You will need to pay for your course. You will, that's a given. But we have some good news. The courses, both of them, you can apply for a government loan to cover the fee. So as long as you're committed and you attend the session and you continue to study and complete your access qualification, it is fully fundable via the government scheme, the Advanced Learner Loan Scheme. And I think with this Zoom meeting invite, you should have had a link to our course brochure. Have a look at it. I'll keep referring to it throughout the session, because within our course brochure, it's interactive. There's much more information about how to apply for funding for a loan to cover the access qualification fee, if indeed that's what you want to do. The better news is that if you then go on to study and complete your degree, then your level 3 access to higher education loan is written off. Okay, and all you'll be left with is your level 4 degree loan to pay off, if indeed you take one out for that reason. As I said, more information is available in the brochure, which is on the link that's been sent to you, as well as in our course details on the Learn Telford website. Okay, so we talked broadly there about what access to higher education is about, what it's for. What we'd like to do now is give you a bit of an overview as to what it means to study with us at Learn Telford, and how access to higher education courses are going to run with us, what they'll look like. And at this point, I'd like to bring in Helen Marsh. Hi Helen.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you fine, thank you.
Brilliant.
Helen, you're our lead tutor for the new Access to Higher Education programme. Would you be able to just talk us through what that's going to look like and what it means to study with Learn Telford?
Absolutely. Well, welcome everyone, and we're all sort of getting used to this new way of working online, aren't we? And what I would say is one of the great things about the Access course is that you have units which are provided online. So the home study aspect of the course, you'll be doing that at home in your own time. And there's a really good interactive learning portal, which is, as you can see by the little icon, powered by Pearl. And Pearl is a partnership, and they have all the units written for you, all the learning materials there for you, plus any extra reading you need to do, all the links are there. So everything is literally at your fingertips, and at any time you want to, you can log on and do a little bit of study. Because as we know, it's very difficult when you're juggling your work and maybe your family to actually find time. So doing it this way, you don't have to come on at a certain time every week. You'll have your 10 hours a week that you can study as and when suits you. And we'll, as your tutors, will be releasing units in line with what we're doing in the classroom. Because as you can see, there's also 5 hours a week where you'll be joining us, maybe initially face to face, but once we can get back in the classroom, we're all really eager to get back there and start face to face learning again. And the way this will be set up is we'll probably introduce the new unit with you, and you'll have a chance to do some classroom-based activities, have a chance to share your opinions and your thoughts and your ideas about different units and different subjects, and also meet up with your peers and actually interact with them too. So I think the beauty of this is you can be at home working at your own pace, at your own time, but then once a week you'll have the support of your tutors and your peers, sort of to keep you on track as well. So this will be taught alongside your online learning. And within this 5 hours a week, we'll also have a chance to work on the UCAS applications, and because this is the gateway to your higher education course at university, so we want to make sure that you can find the right course for you, the right university for you, and help you make that application successfully. So I think that's probably all we'll say right now. So thanks, Lynn.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Helen. Yeah, I was just going to reiterate that the lion's share of the study will be at home and online based, to be studied by you as flexibly as you want to. As you say, you can log on and study your units during the week at a time to suit you, and that hopefully that classroom session that we will have face-to-face contact with will just be one session per week. So that 5 hours will be one session, so it won't span across a number of days. It'll be one day per week contact with your tutor in a face-to-face situation. Okay.
And we also forgot to say you will also need access to a laptop. So that's one of the resources. You'll probably need a laptop or some form of way of getting online to access the materials. But we can support you to sort all of that out.
Thank you. Thanks, Helen. Sticking with you, actually, Helen, what I wanted to do next is to talk to everybody about the new courses that we're launching. And first and foremost, to let everybody know that we're going to be offering the Access to Higher Education programme in education itself. So Helen, you will be leading on that programme. Would you be able to give us a bit of information about what will be covered in that actual course itself?
Yeah, certainly, yes. So the Access to Diploma in Education. To start with, we'll be starting off with a few sort of study skills, writing skills, just to get you on track with the sorts of ways we do assignments and do work at this level. But it's not all written assignments, so don't worry if you're thinking, gosh, I'm not sure if I want to be writing reams and reams. You'll have the chance to maybe do a little bit of filming, upload clips for your assessments. There's all different ways to do them. But the study skills element, they are online, and also we'll cover those in class too. And then being education, we'll be looking into all the sort of psychology and theories behind learning, what influences us to learn, what makes us learn well, what's a successful course, what doesn't work so well, all of these aspects that come into helping us educate children or adults. And as part of that, we'll also be covering child development, looking through all the different life stages and how that affects learning. And there'll be an element of human biology too, so looking at different processes in the body, different systems that may or may not affect education and learning. And another big sort of influence onto education is the society we live in. So we'll also be looking at the sociology of education, all the different things that happen in society that change how we learn and how we learn better. And then we'll also be covering classroom management, the sort of nuts and bolts of how do we manage the classes, what happens when things go wrong, how do we write courses, how do we assess courses, And so all of those really important skills that we need for that.
Oh, that's
Okay.
great. Yeah, thank you, Helen. That's really, really useful. Obviously, second to the Access in Education, we're also launching the Access to Higher Education diploma in health professions. And our lead tutor, Maria Bibi, will be leading that course. And Maria, if you're there.
Yes, I'm here.
Hi
Hello,
there.
everyone.
I would just like you to be able to really, if possible, discuss the same as to what we can expect with the health professions course.
So similarly, you'd begin with a study skills module where you'd learn to write academically to a level 3 standard. We'll have a bit of a discussion about how to discuss and interpret your ideas and issues related to your academic work. Then there's a topic all about human biology, and that's all related to the human body, so the brain and the nervous system, the musculoskeletal system, which is the muscles, and the skeletal system, and looking at areas such as cell biology, because cells are the building blocks of all living things. Then you'll move on to looking at human immunity. So what's the body's first and second lines of defense? What are vaccines? What's specific immunity? All those sorts of stuff. And then a lot of you will be going into the NHS, hopefully. So we'll be looking at, why did a National Health Service begin? And where have we got to from where it began? And then to finish off, inequalities in health and social factors in healthcare. So that's looking at topics such as poverty and health.
Okay, great. Thank you, Maria. So that gives you a broad overview, I think, about what will be covered in the 2 different access courses that we'll be offering to you. Moving on from there, where can it lead? So obviously, as Helen said, access into higher education is your gateway into university study. And it's really important whilst doing your level 3 access diploma that all the time you're thinking about, where do I want to go? Where is this going to take me? What's my progression route? What's my future? Do I have a vocation in mind? Is it more academic study that I'm interested in? And during this year, not only will you be studying your subject matter, but also thinking about all those wider factors as well. So at this point, it would be really great to bring in Dr. Alice Wren and Dr. Helen Perkins from the School of Education at Wolverhampton Uni. And I don't know if you both can hear me. Hopefully you can. But I just wanted to get your input and your insight, really. If you can both perhaps give us a little bit of an overview as to where, if you're studying this access diploma in education, where can it take you? Where can it lead?
Do you want to go first, Helen?
I was just going to say the same to you, Alice. To stay polite.
Oh, you go first.
Okay. So if we start a little way down there, my area of specialism is early childhood. So I'm going to start there because that's what I know best. And it was really good to hear the content of the education course, including child development. So the things that you would study on that education course would lead very nicely into an early childhood studies degree or a family and community. We do young people, family and community as well. So there are 2 different courses that would lead very nicely on from there. An access course is very much welcomed as an entry to any of our courses. And in fact, you come with a real advantage because you've had those study skills, because you've got that underpinning understanding of the sector. So yes, you can come onto those courses. You can then from there, there's progression to postgraduate courses in social work and all sorts of other aspects, but I'm not sure how much detail you want me to go into. So early childhood, definitely. And the early childhood studies degree, we have a placement aspect alongside that, so you can gain your early years educator qualification, which is the license to practice in early years settings. We also work alongside the Early Childhood Studies Degrees Network, who put forward the early childhood graduate practitioner competencies, so you can work towards those higher level practice skills as well, which of course make you very, very employable.
Okay, so Helen, what would you say to somebody who thought that an Access diploma in education would only lead them into primary or secondary teaching?
There are lots of other opportunities. Our students go on to do all sorts of things. We've got one, for example, I've got one student going to work with the police in the child protection area. I've had students go on to criminology. I was just trying to make notes. I've had students go on. There's a lot of opportunity once you've got your degree to go on to postgrad study, but also working in the community, working for people, some of the charities like Barnardo's or Save the Children, NSPCC. Very much welcome. Things that don't have a particular vocational title, but the skills and knowledge that you've developed lead you very much into those job roles. Community work, play work, social work. What else did I put down there? I think those were it for
Yeah.
now, but lots of different things. And of course, one of the other things about, and this applies to all of us that are talking to you about degrees today, is once you've got your degree, lots of employers, if you decide at that point, if you actually don't really want to work with children and families, you've got a lot of skills, and you look at the graduate workforce schemes, lots of companies look to take you into their workforce because of the skills that you've developed about self-organization, about the ability to research, the ability to consider facts, whether they're real facts or fake facts. So you've got those skills, and they're very much sought after by employers in all areas.
Okay, thanks, Helen. Dr. Alice Wren, I wonder if there's anything you'd like to add to that.
I just think, so Helen works specifically with the early years and the young people, family and communities. There are two other degrees within our school that are worth talking about. So I'm Head of Education Studies, which isn't just a route into teaching. Our students go on to do all sorts of things. I have a student this year going on to do a qualification in drama therapy. And then alongside that, we also have the Special Educational Needs, Disability and Inclusion course, which is for anybody who's interested in anything to do with additional needs. I think I'd reiterate what Helen said, which is we love having Access students because they've had a bit of a head start. Looking at the list of things that you were doing in your Access course for education, that translates directly into what we're doing in education studies specifically, but in the other routes that you can go into with us. And I think it means that you don't have that gap. That's the other thing that's nice when we're teaching. It means that you've had a run up. Whereas sometimes we have students coming back after a long time without the Access qualifications, and it can be a bit more of a stilted start. Mm-hmm. I think the thing that I think is important to get across is, yes, it can be a route into teaching, but it doesn't have to be. And that's true of all of those courses that we've talked about. And so just because it has education in the title doesn't necessarily mean you're going to end up teaching in a school. And when I did my education studies degree, I worked out about halfway through the first semester that wasn't something I wanted to be doing. Okay. And the nice thing about those courses is that there is flexibility in terms of what you can go on to.
Great. Okay, thank you. I think I need to add to my list that I have there, because that certainly is not exhaustive, and I think you've given us some really good impressions there as to the various routes and the vocations, different pathways that an Access diploma in education can lead on to. Natalia, I'd ask the same to you really about someone is doing really well, they're doing their Access diploma in health professions. Where can that lead, and what can it move on to?
Well, you've got listed there the obvious things, that the nursing courses. So we have 4 different fields of nursing. There's your adult nursing, child nursing, learning disability, and mental health. Then we do have midwifery, paramedic science, physiotherapy, occupational therapy, and podiatry, which are your main health professional courses. But then we also have health studies, social care, public health, and those are the sort of the courses that aren't obvious where they take you. So your nursing course, it's obvious that you want to go on to be a nurse, but with your health studies, social care and public health, there are so many different roles within communities and other workforces that you can look at. So many people go on to work in adults and community education, teenage pregnancies, sexual health, drugs and alcohol workers, working in councils' public health teams, hospital administration, community development. There's researchers, nutritionists, health and safety advisors, working with offenders, and there's a whole host of different careers that are possible, particularly where people's circumstances don't allow you actually to be a full-time nurse or a full-time paramedic, but the access to HE health professions diploma can open up a whole host of different courses and different career paths. What I think it's worth mentioning as well is the education ladies have talked about access to higher education students being having an advantage because they're just coming from study. On our health courses, we have a lot of mature students. And what they actually bring with them is a whole host of skills and experiences that your traditional 18-year-old doesn't have. Being able to come and do the access to higher education course develops people's confidence to allow them into education. Once they come into higher education, actually they are some of the better students because they know how to apply what they're learning into scenarios and experiences that they've already dealt with. So our mature students absolutely love our courses and do very, very well. And there is a whole host of mature students. So people shouldn't feel as though that they might be the odd one out, the only one with children or a family life. Actually, there's a lot of people in those situations. And as you know, we'll work with you throughout the first year to look at the different courses that are available and give a lot more information so people aren't sort of just looking at, oh, I want to be a nurse because I want to help somebody. We can look at what's the best fit for people's circumstances and their future progression.
Oh, great. Thank you, Natalia. I think that's a really important point to remember, that the whole process of the access qualification is about working with you and developing you and your thought patterns and your feelings towards career and vocation and academic study, and hopefully sort of carving a path with you towards level 4 or degree level study. Okay, that's been really, really useful. Thank you very much. Some questions to ask yourself now then. Is access to higher education the right course for you? That's a really, really important question to ask, and it's worth thinking about these things and seeing how you answer them. So, are you 23 plus and have no traditional level 3 or A-level qualifications? Are other areas of your life perhaps getting in your way in terms of your progress in your learning or your career? And do you have a desire to push yourself forward into a new career that perhaps involves a degree? So if the answer is yes to those questions, it's worth having a think about these points here. So if you don't have the traditional A levels that you would ordinarily need to make a UCAS application to get into university, what do your skills look like at level 2? Ideally, for access to higher education, we're looking for people who have skills at level 2 in English and maths, and particularly science for the access to health professions course at grade A to C. So the reason we ask for that is important, really, because we're looking to ensure that you're able to cope with level 3 study. So the level and the depth of the diploma is going to be really important, that you can cope with it. So the skills at level 2 in English, maths and in science are going to be key. So that's something to think about. If you have other life commitments, such as a family or work, or perhaps you're volunteering or you have caring duties, and you're only able to study part-time, the access qualification is really, really flexible, and it could be ideal for you. And if you've already had the thought pattern, if you're already thinking that you have a career in mind that involves degree level study, again, this is an opportunity to help you to access that degree level. So I'll come back to the first point I made about us really looking for people with skills at level 2 already to ensure that they're going to be able to complete, to enjoy, to cope with the level and the depth of the assessments involved, the academic writing, the level of study with an access qualification. But what I wanted to say and to make it clear is that we realise that although you might have skills at level 2, what you might not have is that actual certificate to say that you have those skills. And so if you feel that this course is right for you, if you feel that level 3 access diploma you would cope well with, and you feel that it is the next stepping stone for you, then when you come to apply for the access course, make it really clear in your application to us. Perhaps you've been doing other things in your life in terms of work, perhaps other life experience, volunteering, caring, as we talked about. That means that you have those skills that would really, really suit an access course. Perhaps you've worked in accounts previously, perhaps you've worked in an office where you're letter writing and you know you have those skills and abilities. If you don't have the formal qualifications at level 2, make it really clear why you feel that studying this access course is right for you. Okay, so are you up for it? Are you in? If you are, then hopefully these steps will make it really straightforward for you to have a think about what you need to do next. So I keep talking about it, really, really important. Have you read the course brochure, the link that's been sent to you? It's on the website. Lots more information in there about these 2 courses, about what's going to be covered and how it will be covered and what will be expected of you as well. Very importantly, can you commit a minimum of 15 hours per week to study? We've talked about the fact that this is a level 3 course. It will be in depth and we're looking to cover it in a period of an academic year, and it'll go extremely fast. So 15 hours is a minimum, again, flexibly around your life commitments, but it is really important that you have that time to study. Do you have the right qualifications at level 2? We've talked about that. And if not, when you come to apply, how are you going to make it clear to us that you feel that this is the right course for you? If it is, then we will definitely encourage you to go to the Learn Telford website and follow the links to apply now. And there you'll be taken to a web form where you can make an application to come onto the access courses. The next point of call will be, if you're successful in your application to us, we will encourage you and we will ask you to do an assessment with us to really make sure that this is the right course for you and that you will cope with the level involved. And at that point, we will offer you loan application support if indeed you want to look into the government loan to cover the fee for the access course. So if that goes well, if you do really well in your assessment with us and we're confident that this is the right course for you and you are confident too, then we will offer you a place. If it's not quite the right time for you, if there are other stepping stones that need to be achieved, we'll absolutely signpost you to other areas that will build up your skills so that next time round you're ready for access. But if you are offered a place, then it will be time for enrolment and then your course will begin. Okay, so when you are on the course, you'll be studying 15 hours per week as a minimum, as we said. As soon as you've got in the bag your first 2 units completed and your loan in place and you're attending your classroom seminars as well once a week and you're doing your online learning, we'll be giving you tons and tons of support inside the classroom, outside of the classroom, alongside our partners, our partner universities, giving you information, helping you research university courses and carving out that career path and that academic path that you're interested in, as well as lots of support with building your UCAS application to university itself. Okay, so all is going well and you've completed and you've achieved your course. Remember, it's graded, pass, merit, distinction. What you put in is what you're going to get out. You'll obviously head towards graduation, and at that point the doors to university will open, and from there the sky's the limit. and it's really up to you, you know, where you want to go next and what you want to do. But that is the overview. That's the plan really of the Access course. That's what it looks like, and that's the route through to university. Okay, so that's sort of a very broad overview of the whole Access to Higher Education diploma in terms of what we're doing at Learn Telford, our plan for the next academic year with Access, and I hope that's been of use to you to get that information and understanding about what's involved and what you need to do and where it could lead. Richard, we asked at the beginning if people had any questions, that they're very able to put them in the chat stream, and maybe we'll take a few now.
And they have been doing, yes.
Oh, great to hear.
So thank you for that. If you've got questions that you haven't yet asked, obviously feel free to start typing them in there, and we'll do our best to get to them. But I've been scribbling down some questions that have already been asked, that I've said to people I'll raise. So one of the first questions was, where will the sessions be held? So when people are doing these face-to-face sessions, obviously some might be online to begin with, but when they're face-to-face in a classroom, where will that be?
That's a really good question, and I have to say, ordinarily this session itself wouldn't be held on this platform. We'd really like to meet you, but the circumstance that we're in at the moment means that we can't do that. As it stands, we are planning to go ahead with face-to-face sessions in September when the course starts. What we are at the moment doing is having talks with venues as to their feasibility, their risk assessment, and their plan for keeping people safe. So that's really, really important, first and foremost, to make sure that the venue that we secure is safe for you and safe for our staff. Once we're happy with that, then obviously we will let you know the venue and where that's going to go ahead. If for any reason that can't go ahead and we're not happy with the plan in terms of rooming and sanitation and sizing and social distancing, then what we will do is still go ahead with our sessions, our weekly sessions, face to face, but it will be very much like this on an online platform to start with. I hope that gives a bit of a, that's probably as specific I can be at the moment, Richard, unless you want to add anything to that.
Thank you, Lynn. And next question for you was then about session times, because obviously the first one was about location, another about session times, and will that fit around childcare? So if they've got school-age children, will it be in between during the day when their children are at school?
Yeah, so currently, as I said, we're in talks with venues to make sure we get the right venue and that it's safe and secure for everybody to access. So I haven't got a fixed date for that at the moment. We are envisaging it will either be a Monday or a Friday in terms of the face-to-face session. And the sessions, when they do go ahead, we've said they're 5 hours. You will get a lunch break. They will start at 9:30 and finish at 2:30 to fit neatly within any childcare responsibilities.
Okay, thank you for that. Hopefully that answers your question, the person that needed that information. The next question was about qualifications from other countries. I think this was in reference to the entry requirements for access. Someone was saying their qualifications are from their country of origin originally, so they're not UK-based qualifications. Will they still be able to do the access course?
I think the level of English is really important, and the level that will be involved with the diploma itself and the academic writing. I think you need to think about whether you're confident in your English skills first and foremost. And if you've learned through the medium of English before, that might be absolutely fine for you. But Rob Hedison, I might bring you in at this point to talk about somebody who might very well have a qualification in maths or science that hasn't been studied in this country. Rob, could you tell us a little bit more about how we would know if that was the right level, what we need to do? You might be on mute, Rob, if you're still there.
Yeah, Rob is there and he is on mute. He's not muted now.
Yeah, beg pardon.
Okay.
I've got dodgy handset here. Yeah, I think the first thing to do is come and talk to us, come and seek some advice there. We've got the facility to look at comparisons of international qualifications. I'm going to cough, so I'm muting again, excuse me.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, didn't want to put you all through that. And also, we do offer functional skills in maths and English if they're needed. So if the worst came to the worst and someone didn't have the appropriate skills, we could look at helping them with that. But I think the first thing is to come and talk to us, and we'll start looking at those international comparisons.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks, Rob. And as you can see on your screen there, you've got our Learn Telford website with all our contact details. If you do want to have a chat with us, you've got our email address there as well. If you have got more questions and if you want some further information, do get in touch and we'll speak to you individually about your circumstances.
Thank you for that. So I think summarize that, the kind of, yes, your international qualifications may still apply. We just need to check the level. So don't rule it out at this moment in time, because the access to HE course may well be for you. Another question from someone else is, can you do this course if you already have a degree?
That's an interesting question.
That's exactly what I said.
That's probably what I need to research. I suppose, Mike, I'd come back with a question as to why would you need to do it if you already had a degree? And I'm guessing that your degree might not be in the subject area that the access qualifications are. But actually, Natalia, I might refer back to you on this. Do you ever have anybody coming to the university who wants to do a degree course but has a degree in something else? How would that ordinarily work?
We do. We do have quite a few, actually. Now, usually the government will only fund you for one degree. The difference in the rules are, if you want to go to apply for nursing, the government will fund you a second degree if it is for nursing in certain allied health courses. So we do have a lot of people who they've done their degree traditionally at their sort of 18 to 21 in a different area. They've had a little bit of a career and said, actually, I want to go back into nursing. So they've reapplied. But if they've already got a degree, they certainly don't need to do another one. That degree would be sufficient for the entry requirements.
Okay, that's interesting. It's just reminded me there as well, Natalia. Are you able to just talk a little bit about? I believe there's a bursary available for anyone going to do nursing. Do you know any more about that?
I do. Yeah, I was just about to post it in the chat as well.
Oh, great.
So it hasn't started yet, but as of this September, the government will be giving everybody who's enrolling on a nursing, midwifery or allied health course a bursary of £5,000.
Just to reiterate, that's a degree course. So if they then go on to a degree course,
So at a university, so any nursing, midwifery, physiotherapy, podiatry, paramedic course, it's not means tested, so it means everybody will get a guaranteed £5,000 per year, and that doesn't have to be paid back.
Okay, so that's in addition to potentially a student loan that's taken out as well. Okay.
And in addition to that, they'll also give you, again, not have to be paid back, up to £1,000 towards childcare costs. Potentially £1,000 for those regions who are struggling to recruit to those areas, and £1,000 for those who are where there's a shortage of that specialism. Now, currently for podiatry, mental health and learning disability nursing, so if you were to go into learning disability nursing, the minimum you would get is £6,000.
Okay, so that's really interesting. Per year as well. Thank you.
And that's per year. And as I say, I've posted the link to the government information page in the website, in the chat, sorry. But we expect it to start this September, and I think it's going to be very, very welcomed by all of our students.
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that. I knew you'd have some more information about that. That's really useful to know. So I know we sort of segued there a little bit, Richard, from the original question.
No, it's fine.
It popped into my head, and I think it's a really useful piece of information. So thanks, Natalia.
Yep. And there was another question around students with health conditions. So if someone has a health condition and they want to do the access to HE course and they want to go on to a degree course, is there support for students with health conditions?
So in terms of the access course, then we'd look at obviously everybody individually, and our tutors will be talking to you individually about your needs and whatever they are, to make sure that they're a priority in terms of planning. And so if we're aware of them, then we'll work with you to make sure that we can facilitate the course to meet your needs. In terms of moving into university study, Alice or Helen, you might have a little bit more information as to what that actually means moving on into degree level.
So at the University of Wolverhampton, we have students with a range of needs, from quite complex disability right through to mental health needs. We've got a dedicated service called Student Support and Wellbeing, who collect information, so talk to the students about what their needs are, and then share whatever information the students are happy for them to share. And we're very used to working with students with a range of needs.
Absolutely, okay. Thank you for that. Thanks.
Another one more specifically, this is someone I suspect who's done previous adult community learning courses. I've asked if they've done their level 1 in child development, will they be able to do the Access to HE course?
I think that's a good question. I think it goes back to what we were saying earlier. Is that level 2 study? What does that look like? What are your skills like at level 2? What we would want you to be is confident at level 2 before you moved on to a level 3 type diploma. And you may or may not be aware that through our service itself, we actually offer the level 2 child development certificate. And that's what we'd be looking for first and foremost for somebody perhaps looking to move into the Access education diploma in education itself, or indeed health professions.
Okay, so far that is all the questions we've had.
Okay, great.
Just looking in the chat, someone else is saying they've done a level 2 in maths and child development. Can they apply for a level 3 in maths? Well, Access to HE isn't a maths course specifically, but certainly with the level 2 in maths and the child development, that you might be suitable for an Access to HE course. And without your application form, it's hard to say.
I think we were going to look, Richard, just to let people know, if you are interested in either the Access course in education or health professions, please have a look now at the brochure again, and also you've got our Learn Telford website there where you can actually go into the courses and apply now if you're interested, if that's what you want to do. That's what we would encourage you to do. But
I'll happily demonstrate that in just a minute for you if you like.
Please do, yeah.
Just before I do that, does anybody have any other questions? If you do, if you could quickly pop them in the chat and we'll do our best to pick them up.
And if we don't pick them up now, we'll be looking back through the chat as well, and we'll get back to you if we have your contact details, which we should do if you've obviously linked into the event. And if you're not sure and you think of questions later on, then you've got our email address there. Please feel free to send any queries, any questions, raise them with us, and we'll get back to you.
Okay, then if I could ask you to stop sharing your screen, and I'll share mine just to show people the website where they can get to the next steps.
There we go.
Okay, so hopefully everybody can see that we're now on the Learn Telford website. It's just give me an indication that that's what you see, Lynn.
Yes, I can see it.
Yeah, they can see that. That's great. So this is the Learn Telford website. If you go, it's learntelford.ac.uk, learntelford.ac.uk. That'll bring you here. If you see at the top of the screen, it's got the courses up here. I hope you can see my mouse pointer as well, moving around on the courses bit.
Yep.
You click on that, and it gives you a list of the courses on this left-hand side. And this may be presented to you slightly differently if you're doing it on a phone or a tablet. But there will be this search filter option will still be there. You can tick Access to HE courses on the search filter, and then just click search, and then the two that you get will be the Access to HE in education and the Access to HE in health professions. You can then click on view details for either of those courses depending on which one you're interested in. It will give you lots more information about the course. The key bits to bring your eye to are there's a link here, look, which gives you the Access to HE brochure, so you can have a look at the Access to HE brochure from that link. And if you scroll down, here is the link here. Already decided you can apply here, and you click that link to apply. Okay, there is a register interest up here. I would encourage you not to click register interest in this particular case. Actually, the best thing to do is to click the apply button, this apply link down here under after the course. So click this apply link. I'll just show you briefly what they look like. So this is our access to HE brochure. So if you click on the access to HE brochure, it'll take you to this. There's a picture of Lynn, who you now know because you've seen her she's been talking at you for the past hour. And you can click through, and it's lots more information about the courses. It also has modules lists, so that if I just click on here, look, it will take me to the health professions module list, so you can see an actual list of the modules that you'll be studying on that course.
There's also a link to more information about the Advanced Learner Loan facility through the .gov website. So thinking about funding, I think where it says course fees, don't worry, there should be a link where it says click here, just at the bottom of the page.
Just here. So
hopefully.
Course fees, click here, I'll just click there.
And it should link to, it gives you a journey of what you need to do in terms of applying for an advanced learner loan, if that's what you want to do. And there we go, some more information about what it exactly means, if it's the right choice for you, and how the loan itself actually works in terms of allowing you to access your course.
Okay, and obviously then if you decide you want to apply for the course, like I said, you go down, you click on already decided, you can apply here, and I'll share this link directly with you in the chat in a minute, and that will bring you to the access to HE application form, and this is what you'll see, and then you'll be able to start filling in details to make an application to do the access to HE course, whether that be health professions or education. Just let me quickly check if I'll just stop sharing my screen now, and we'll see if we have any other questions to pick up. Mabine says, thank you all of you, it's been very helpful. Thank you very much, Mabine, we really appreciate that. And Helen's answered another question. Yep, lovely. I don't think we've got, oh, yep, Jenny's saying she's got her question was not answered. Ooh, sorry, Jenny. What question was that?
I would say we will pick up, we'll look through the chat stream as well and get back to you individually. If we have missed anything, we'll definitely be taking a look at any queries and get back to you if we have missed anything today.
Yeah, I'm just quickly looking to see if I could find Jenny's original.
I can just see Jenny's there. It says about she has access to nursing and still needs level 2 in functional skills English. So, you know, will she be able to apply again? But I think what we're saying is apply and we can have a chat with you. We can look at your transferable skills and what qualifications you already have and see whether it's the right course right now.
Yes, I see it. So I think if your question, Jenny, is can you do your maths or English qualification with us? The answer to that question is yes, we have functional skills courses running. There'll be information about those on the Learn Telford website shortly. We run them every year. They're running throughout the year. So absolutely, I think we do 2 intakes typically for functional skills maths and English, one starting in September, the other typically starting in February. So you can definitely do your maths and English with others if that is the only bit that you're missing.
Yeah, I think that's really, really good to say, because it might be today that you've identified that you've got a building block that you want to look at first before you go ahead with the level 3 study, because you know yourself that you need to upskill in those areas, and absolutely we can help you with your English and maths.
We just had another question pop in from Stephanie, who's asking, can you study functional skills alongside the Access course?
Can you study functional? I mean, that's a really good question. We've talked about the minimum hours of study needed for the Access course itself. It's going to be, you know, it's a full-on course. There's good bit of depth around the Access to HE course, and it's up to you really to identify whether or not you feel that you could cope with actually taking on another course alongside that. If you feel that the answer is yes, then please make that clear in your application. And I think the other thing to think about is whether or not you would feel comfortable undertaking a level 3 course if you know yourself that you've still got some areas at level 2 that you want to upskill and address. But in theory, the answer could be yes.
Yeah, and just to provide a bit more information, typically functional skills courses are 2.5 hours a week face to face. So if you're doing an English course, that'd be 2.5 hours a week face-to-face typically over 6 months, assuming you get to the level required in 6 months, maybe up to 12 months. And again, if you want to do English and maths, that's another 2.5, so that could be another 5 hours a week for both the English and maths. Again, over usually at least 6 months, quite possibly 12 months, depending on what your starting level is and where you need to get to. Okay, any other questions? Give a moment for anybody to post a question, and if not, we'll draw this session to a close, I think. Oh, here we go. Someone's saying, I've signed up twice to Functional Skills English at Parkland Woodside, which got okay. Yeah, we're starting new courses from September. So keep an eye on the Learn Telford website. It's likely that we will be running some functional skills there from September. They may also be online, which makes the geography of where they are less of an issue, actually, if the specifics of not being able to get from one part of Telford to another is more problematic, because you might be able to do them online, so it doesn't really matter where you are. So yeah, keep your eye on the Learn Telford website for functional skills. How would I know for sure? I will be doing this for sure. Not quite sure what you mean, but yeah, if you've got specific questions, like I say, drop us an email. We'll pick them up for you. Don't worry.
just to add to that, really, that once your application is made, that we will look at your application. If we feel the course is right for you, just to say again, we'll ask you to take an assessment with us, and if your assessment is successful, then we'll be coming back to you and offering you a role on the Access diplomas.
Someone's just asked, if they don't have a science qualification, can they still apply? So assume from that it means they've got the English and maths at level 2, but they don't have the science. Can they still apply?
I think you can still apply, and it would just we would ask you again really to have a think about your level of science in terms of the course that you'll be looking at. It might be at this stage that you now go away and start to do your own little bit of research in GCSE biology. Now you know what's going to be covered, and if you've done that, then let us know about it. Have you bought some Let's Guys? Are you studying yourself? Are you doing a bit of online study to bring yourself up to speed? If you are, then we're really interested in hearing about that. So the answer is really, what are you doing right now to make sure that your skills are coming up to a level that would be necessary? And again, if you feel that you've got that and that you would be able to take it forward, the assessment that we will do at the beginning of the course will decide whether or not the course is right for you.
Also, Lynn, it might be worth mentioning that some university courses you have to have a GCSE in science, some you don't. So so if it's a course that requires science anyway, then you just need to do your science, where if it's a course that doesn't, you just need to get your science level up to a standard to be able to do the level 2 qualification. So it's worth knowing what the entry requirements are moving forward, because you don't want to sort of do other things and think I can not do the GCSE, but to then find out you have to have a GCSE anyway.
Yeah, so that's a really good point, is perhaps identifying what it is you want to do at university at level 4, looking at the entry requirements. And like you said, Natalia, they can be different from university to university as well, and doing your own research as to what it is you will need. So that's a really useful point. And if you've got more queries and questions around that, we'd ask you to contact us individually so we can give you a bit more support.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
And course to course changes as well, depending on the level of science needed within the course.
That's right. Yeah.
It's also worth pointing out at that point, if you're thinking of going on to QTS into teacher training, initial teacher training, it has to be GCSE English, maths and science, grade C 4 or above.
Okay, that's for is that for primary and secondary teaching? Is that what you're saying? Thank you, Helen. That's great.
And again, if anybody wants any specific information, advice and guidance, we have a careers advice team who can provide you specifically with information, advice and guidance, and that can be tailored specifically to you. You can have a one-to-one appointment and have a chat with them, and they can go into all the details with you. So don't worry if there are a few niggling questions that you think, actually, they're personal to me, but I just would like to ask them to someone, then definitely we have staff who can support you with that. Just get in touch with us. In order to do that, best way to do it is you can either drop in us an email at support@learntelford.ac.uk, or you can give us a phone call as well. We have a few of our admin support team who will be happy to take your calls, and that's 01952 382 888. I'll type that into the chat as well while I'm saying it. 01952 382 888. There we go, that's in the chat for you. And obviously the email address, I'll type that in as well, support@learntelford.ac.uk. And you can contact us through either of those channels, whichever is easiest for you.
Okay.
I think, therefore, because it's 12:15, we'll draw this session to a close. Thank you, Jenny.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I'd like to thank everybody for attending today. It's something quite new to us. We're very excited about September, but obviously this information event and the way that we've used this platform today is quite new to us as well. So we're really pleased that you've come along today, and we hope very much to see you in September. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. There we go. And the session. Nice to see you all. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.